Shalom. Hey, sometimes one verse tells the whole story. We can do extensive Bible studies and, go from book to book, chapter to chapter, verse to verse. But sometimes one verse, really, if you break it down, if you allow the Ruach of the Most High, the Kodesh Ruach of the Most High to really work within you, one verse can be broken down to tell the whole story. And so here's one, for example. If you want to be accepted, accepted, by Yahuwah as a group of people, if a group of people, let's call it a nation, desires to be accepted by Yahuwah, to be accepted of him, then there's a way for that to happen. Go to the book of Acts, ACTS, chapter 10, verse 34 and verse 35. I'm reading it from both the King James and then the Hallelujah Scriptures. First, the King James. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, "Of a truth I perceive that God, Yahuwah, is no respecter of persons." Verse 35. "But in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him." Let's go to the Hallelujah Scriptures and let's read the same thing and see what the difference might be other than the language changes. Verse 34, "And opening his mouth, Kapha said, Truly, I see that Elohim shows no partiality." Verse 35, "But in every nation, he who reveres him and works righteousness is accepted by him." So if you want to be accepted by him, then you must be a righteous nation. That's what it's telling us. You have to be a righteous nation if you desire to be accepted of him. Now, you might get stuck on the term nation. A nation is a particular group. Let's look at it. Let's just do a basic Google search. You could take it from a sociology book, but Google has good definitions. Here it is. A nation is considered, and let me go back here. As a distinct people group, a distinct group of people characterized by shared language. They have a shared language, a shared culture, a shared geography, and a shared ancestry. And it's not about necessarily political borders, okay? It's about being a distinct culture, which is reflected through your shared language, the use of that language, the understanding of that language, and that language being specific to your nation, your group, your people, in other words. Your culture also reflecting your style of food, your food choices, your food preparation methods, and your colors, how you derive your colors. When I'm talking about colors, I mean like colors for your clothing, colors for your abodes, your houses, and how you get all of that. Your culture might reflect the type of jewelry that you wear, how you wear that jewelry, why you wear that jewelry a certain way. Culture shapes all of that. The way you dance, your dance practices, the way you worship, whom you worship, why you worship, how you worship, when you worship, how you believe, how you speak. Again, that's the language, that use of language, how you interpret that language, how you write that language, how you share and pass down that language, how you sing, what you sing. All of that is in step with our understanding of culture. And it is usually bound geographically because that specific or distinct group of people will share a particular locale or a particular geography. And so that's where that cultural influence will be concentrated, is wherever they are geographically. And then, of course, there's that ancestry, because this culture, these practices, these beliefs, this language, the foods, the dancing, whatever, that's all going to be passed down throughout the lineages, the understanding. So this is what makes a nation. And so we know that we are a nation of people. And in order to see Yahuwah as a nation of people, we have to be a righteous nation. And righteousness comes from faithfulness to Yahuwah. Oh, yeah. The cell phone heard me talking, so now it's giving me some advice, supposedly, I guess. But we have to be faithful to him to prove our righteousness, because in being faithful to him, we will then adhere to his laws, because they go hand in hand. His laws in practice keep us righteous. There's righteousness in maintaining the law. There's also righteousness in accepting his grace for our shortcomings to the law. But the one does not negate the other, and that's scripturally proven. So in order to be accepted by Yahuwah, we have to be a righteous nation within our culture. In other words, follow me on this part. Let me really frame it. In our culture, which culture includes our practices, part of our practice, part of our belief system, part of what we pass down from generation to generation throughout the lineages is the practice of adhering to his laws, abiding by his laws, what he tells us to do in terms of how to conduct ourselves within our families, how to worship him, how to deal with one another legally. All of that's embedded within all of his laws. And so if we do things his way as a nation, we will be accepted of him, accepted by him as a nation. And all of that came out of Acts, the 10th chapter, verses 34 through 35. Hallelujah. Barak Yahuwah. Abba Yahuwah, give us your grace and your power and your will to do what's required to be accepted by you, to be a righteous nation, so that all will see. In Yahushua's name, so be it, and so it is.